going on, everybody? It's your host, Jimmy Johnson Jr., and I'm back on my podcast, Vitaminsports, where you take vitamins every day, just like we talk about sports every day. Yeah, y'all get to see me live now with my shades on. I look good, man, but that's not the point. I'm out here representing my merch right now, Vitaminsports shirts. Definitely get you one. If you want one, DM me on my page on IG at Vitaminsportsllc. But let's get right down into it. You know, the past couple of days has been definitely tough, especially for the Bryant family, with the lawsuit and everything going on. But today we're not going to talk about the bad. Today we're going to celebrate a man who became more than just a basketball player. He became a legend. He became the guy when you say you want to shoot the ball, you be like, Kobe. Or when you go to the rack, you be like, Kobe. But the fact is, a lot of people, don't talk about Kobe. They basically, look at me crying right now, but I got something in my eye. See that right there? But yeah, basically, it's like Kobe was the man. Kobe was the guy that put the team on his back and said, I'm going to do everything, anything I can to support my team. And that's what he went out and did. People want to say, oh, I got Tim Duncan over him. I got LeBron James, Michael Jordan. You got all these players over him. But let's say Kobe is one of the very few players that has won a championship without a top 75 player and a top 50 player. Steph Curry's in the mix, and Giannis is in the mix. Jordan played with a top 50 player and a top 75 player. Jordan played with a top 50 player, not a top 75 player. And Kareem has played with a top 50 player. Come on now. I know James Worthy on that list too, so he played with two. Oscar Robinson on that list too. But it just goes to show you that how people disrespect Kobe. Let me tell you another thing too. Kobe was robbed of some awards, to be honest. He was. Kobe should have had Defensive Player of the Year. He should have had multiple MVPs. In 2006, Kobe Bryant averaged 35 points. 35. But the only reason why they gave it to Steve Nash, because for one, he averaged a double-double. Only person to do that. There's been very few players to do that. But, of course, you got big men that do that. Then you got point guards that do that. But that's not the point. It was in a Mike D'Antoni system that requires a lot of assists and a lot of scoring. But they had the number 1 seed that year. And that was when Kobe was struggling after Shaq left 2 years ago. But Kobe was on a tear in the league. That was the year that Giannis won the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year is the same equivalent that Kobe should have had in 2006. Yeah, Kobe might not have went to the finals, but Kobe would have got 2 tough awards that had not been won since Michael Jordan at the time. But now Giannis has done it. And then people make it seem like Kobe can't pass the basketball. Who he had to pass the basketball to? Wait. This man had Derek Fisher, who could shoot at times but wasn't consistent. He had Ron Artest that played defense. What are we saying here? We trying to accumulate guys on a team that really didn't help Kobe at a point in time. Towards the end, yeah, they did. They helped Kobe in 2010 and 2009. They was the best supporting cast ever. But how many players on that team was all-stars? I'll wait. Because according to the NBA, Paul Gasol wasn't an all-star caliber player, a Hall of Fame caliber player. But the Lakers get ready to retire his jersey, so he should be in the Hall of Fame if Chris Bosh is in there. 2 championships and was the man? Oh, yeah. Paul Gasol is definitely a top-tier power forward. No questions asked. Plays center and power forward. AD, maybe you should give Paul Gasol a call. Because that man sacrificed too. When they didn't win in 08, him and Kobe was hitting the gym like it was nothing. They won in 2009, and then they won in 2010. Best revenge that you could ever get by beating your rivals in a game that really, really matters. But people want to shit on Kobe. Kobe that scored 60 points in his last game. The oldest player to ever do that. And probably no other player will ever do that, what Kobe did. Start a team from going to the playoffs that year while the Warriors was 73-9. A guy that not only played defense, but was a phenomenal scorer. Like, what are we saying here? What are we talking about here? The guy is amongst very few players to be 9-time first team all defense. 9. That's an NBA record. Kawhi Leonard hasn't done that, but yet people say Kawhi Leonard is better than Kobe. LeBron James hasn't done that, but yet people say LeBron James is better than Kobe. Did Tim Duncan do that? But yet they say Tim Duncan is ranked higher than Kobe. Come on now, man. What are we saying here? 13-time all-defensive player. 13. But everybody got so much to say, saying, oh, Kobe didn't pass the ball, or Kobe just took shots. First of all, Kobe was coached by Phil Jackson. So Kobe had to pass the basketball. Because if you don't know, when Phil got to where Mike was at, Phil told Mike, you have to trust your teammates or we're going to continue to lose. He told Kobe the same thing. You have to trust your teammates in order for us to win, in order for the triangular system to work. What did Kobe do? He trusted Ron Artest. He trusted Odom. He trusts Andrew Bynum. He trusts Paul Gasol. He trusts Jordan Farmer. He trusts Luke Walton. He trusts these guys so that they can, Big Shot Bob. He trusts these guys so that they can win. And when Shaq was there, he gave it to the big man because he knew the big man was going to get what he wanted. But everybody wants to shit on Kobe. We talk about LeBron James, who's a combination of longevity and greatness at the same damn time. But the fact is, LeBron James understand what Kobe was going through when he first got to the Lakers. LeBron James know what Kobe went through, especially when he played on the Cavs, because LeBron James was brought into a system where they would not succeed. They had no idea what success was in the last 50 years. The Lakers did. That's why Kobe had it hard. Kobe was a young man coming into a league thinking he was going to put in that work and start automatically. No. He had to eat some humble pie, but he also learned and grind. He wasn't handed the keys. He earned the keys. He earned the keys in L.A., just like Magic did. Just like Jerry West did. Kareem did. Shaq did. Guys before Kobe had to earn the keys. And that's no disrespect to LeBron James, but Kobe had to make his way and show people who he was and who he was meant to be. And yet people want to continuously disrespect Kobe. Kobe scored 81. He brought his team back into the game. Back into the game. Kobe Bryant, who's not known for shooting threes, had the record for a long time. Most three-pointers made in a game, 13. That was later broken by Steph Curry, then Klay Thompson, then Steph Curry, then Steph Curry, and then Klay Thompson again. So what are we saying? That's how great Kobe was. Kobe was scoring the most 40-point games in NBA history. The most 60-point games in NBA history. The most 50-point games. The guy was a scorer. And he guarded your best players like it wasn't nothing. And yet he doesn't have a Defensive Player of the Year in his trophy case. It's crazy to me. That is what you call an all-around guy. Somebody that can get others involved and can score and can play defense. He ain't had that many shooters on his team. But he gave guys the opportunity to succeed. When Andrew Bynum first got there, Kobe was feeding yo. When Dwight Howard got there, Kobe was feeding him. But those guys are soft. When Kobe was feeding Paul Gasol, and there was a point in time he was soft. But Kobe told him, you can't be soft, bro. We not going to win without you. And what he did, bulk up in the gym and said, give it to me. I'm going to put it in the rim. But nah, Kobe not that guy. And I say Kobe Bryant, to me, is the best player in the NBA because of one thing. His work ethic. Everybody can score in the NBA. That's why they in the NBA. Everybody can't play defense. That's why a lot of people get cooked on the defensive end. You saw it with Luka Doncic. Stop calling him all around. He's an offensive threat. Stop saying Jason Tatum is all around. He's an offensive threat. Stop saying Donovan Mitchell is all around. He's an offensive threat. So that is my point here. I just explained to y'all how great Kobe Bryant is. Let's take it a step further. This guy went a week scoring 50, 60, 50, 40, 36 points in a week. Scoring on anybody. Triple team, double team, you named it. You know who know what that feels like? Steph Curry. Steph Curry. As soon as Kobe Bryant passed the half court, they on him. As soon as Steph Curry passed the half court, they on him. Kobe not only dominated on the basketball court, but he also dominated off the court. People don't know. Kobe was vouching for WNBA players. When Kobe retired, he said, I'm not going to no NBA games. I'm going to WNBA games because the WNBA is like that. When I watched the WNBA game for the first time last year, the WNBA Finals, I was amazed. I was baffled. The games were so good that I had to watch the highlights just to see if I missed anything. They was balling out there. Shout out to Candace Parker for taking upon herself to being a representative of the face of the WNBA. So little girls can say, Mommy, I want to go to the WNBA. And mothers can say, baby, go out there and do what you got to do. But everybody want to, shit on the women WNBA. They're fundamentally sound, just like the international players, more than NBA players. That's why the Team USA struggled. Because they relying on skill instead of work ethic. Everybody talking about they want to look up to Kobe, but don't put in the work like Kobe. And here's some honorable mentions. Devin Booker and Jason Tatum. When y'all going to play some defense? That's why the Celtics lost. Jason Tatum may step up. All he had to do was get them 25 and 12. That was it. And play some defense. That was it. But he couldn't even do that. Same thing with Devin Booker. Score. Why is Chris Paul leading your team in scoring? And you will score. You scored 70 points, even though you lost. But everybody ain't built like Kobe. Kobe is that man. Kobe is the guy when you wake up in the morning, you say, man, I want to work out just as hard as Kobe. Kobe put fire in the West, just like LeBron James put fire in the East. Them guys ain't want to see Kobe. Ask the Spurs about Kobe. Ask the Mavericks about Kobe. Ask any team in the West about Kobe. Kobe was that man. Kobe put fear in KD and them heart. Put fear in 4 Hall of Famers' hearts in the Spurs. Put fear in the East. Come on now. There's a picture that goes out that said KD joined the Warriors because LeBron joined the Heat to beat the big 3 Celtics that couldn't beat Kobe Bryant. He made a big 3 Celtics team with just Paul Gasol. Where they do that at, man? And he beat Dwight Howard because LeBron James couldn't get past Dwight Howard and because he still was going to lose, and that would shut up everything. That would shut up the whole LeBron James versus Kobe Bryant talk. In the finals, barbecue chicken, extra blue cheese on the side. Finger licking good. What are we talking about here? We're talking about a young man at the time that came into the league and made his own, that joined the dunk contest in 1997. This man has won almost every trophy except for six-man Defensive Player of the Year. People want to talk about he don't got enough finals MVPs to be in the conversation. The man did more for the team than Jordan did. He won with less. But what do I know? I'm just a young man that wasn't born in the early 90s. I was born in the late 90s. 3-peat Lakers. 2-peat Kobe Lakers. You think LeBron James could have won a championship with that team that Kobe had? I don't think so. But what do I know, man? I'm your host, Jimmy Johnson Jr., man, and you're here live with me now. Stay tuned for more, man. See ya.